running through the grave, from the shadows to the screen. They decode what the silence means. Click subscribe, let the veil be torn. This is the news we've been waiting for. Turning away, global watchmen leading the way. Every story, every thread, for the living and the misled. Raise your voice, let the signal soar. This is the news we've been waiting for.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you're in the live chat, we do ask to keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform utilizing tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know when we go live. All right, guys, it's Sunday night, so I do have some information for you. It's weird because I first visited this topic back in 2016. Right after the Epstein information started coming to light. I believe it was after his death, quote unquote, his fake death. That I started doing a little bit more searching and looking at the area out in the out in the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, and it's weird because why do billionaires, millionaires, whatever, trillionaires, whatever they are, why do they feel the need to be so isolated? Why do they feel the need to purchase islands, entire islands, where essentially they can make their own laws, where things can go on in those places and nobody will be none the wiser? I think we're finding out why. I think if we take a look at the information that's been coming out since 2016, I think we can figure it out as to why this is. So when I was looking at it, I found an island that I thought was quite interesting, and it belonged to Richard Branson. Now, if you don't know who Richard Branson is, he's the guy that co-founded the Virgin Group in 1970. And as of 2016, he controlled 5 companies. He, let's see what he's got. Says Branson expressed his desire to become an entrepreneur at a young age. Let me pull up Branson real quick. So you guys can see who I'm talking about. There we go. All right, this is the guy I'm talking about right here. So it says Branson expressed his desire to become an entrepreneur at a young age. His first business venture was at age 16 with a magazine called The Student. In 1970, he set up a mail order record business. He opened a chain of record stores, Virgin Records, later known as Virgin Megastores, in 1972. His Virgin brand grew rapidly during the 80s as he started the Virgin Atlantic airline and expanded the Virgin Records music label. In 97, he founded the Virgin Rail Group, a bid for passenger rail franchises during the privatization of the British Rail. The Virgin Trains brand operated the Inner City West Coast franchise from 97 to 2019. He founded the space tourism company Virgin Galactic, based at Mojave Air and Spaceport in California. And he's noted for the Spaceship Two suborbital superplane. In March of 2000, he was knighted for his service to entrepreneurship. During his work in retail, music, and transport, his taste for adventure and his humanitarian work, he's become a prominent global figure. And in 1978, Richard Branson purchased a piece of land in the Caribbean, and he called it Necker Island. Okay. Let's pull it out here. Now, at the time that I did the research on this, he's approximately, if I remember correctly, about 40 miles from Little St. James. And when I found out that all of the Epstein files had been released, one of the first things I did was search out Branson. And then when everybody started talking about Epstein and the Bitcoin, I was like, okay, all right. I could see where we're going with this. Now, if you guys remember from back in the day when I did this and put this information Okay, you did lose me for briefly a minute. I got thrown out of the studio. Well, let's go back to sharing my screen. All right. I don't know what you heard, what you didn't hear, but back in the day when I was putting this information out there, if you recall, Necker Island hosted the NXIVM sex cult, a party for them. Had Keith Rainier, you had the Brofmans, and it also had, now I'm going to go out on a limb here, because I think this was partly what got my my Facebook taken down, because I pissed off some of the Tibetans. But the Dalai Lama's number 2, who was in a relationship with Sarah Brofman for a number of years, even though he was supposed to be celibate, was there also. And we have those pictures as well. And so, and I will pull that up for us right now. Hold on a second. NEXIVM. NXIVM. Necker Island. I'll just pull up the images for us real quick. Let me just a second here. Copy. That way I don't have to go back and do this again. But let's go out of here. Come on, computer. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. That's fine. I will just share the other screen where I have it pulled up. There we go. So the NXIVM on Necker Island. Right here. New York Post. Sex cult partied at Richard Branson's private island. There we have one of the Brofman girls. That's Sarah. Which one that is? I don't even remember which that one is. That's Allison Mack right there. Allison Mack, Sarah Brofman, like I said. Keith Rainier was there. Number 2. Hold on a second. Maybe he wasn't there. Nancy Salzman was there. I'm sorry. Keith Rainier was not there. Okay. I misspoke on that. Keith Rainier was not there. But the Brofman girls were there. And a lot of his people were there. Let me go out of here and let me do. Oops, I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. It'll pull it up anyways. So the organization for the NXIVM, Keith Rainier and the Brofman sisters, they sponsored a visit by the Dalai Lama to Albany, New York in 2009. And that is exactly what I got attacked for over on Facebook. And I stand by what I said. The Dalai Lama did accept the money. He did accept the invite. He did know that Keith Raniere was going to be there. There's pictures of Keith Raniere up on stage with the Dalai Lama. That's not Necker Island. Okay, so just like take out Necker Island on that one. Do NXIVM Dalai Lama. Here we go. Here's a picture of the Dalai Lama putting the scarf around Keith Raniere's neck. There's other pictures of them sitting up on stage as well. Let's see if I can pull that up. Another picture of him here with the Dalai Lama. There's the back of the Dalai Lama there. Okay. So when the NXIVM went to Necker Island to have their party, the Dalai Lama's number 2 was there with them. Now, he was, like I said, in a relationship with Sarah Rothman, even though he was supposed to be celibate. Right here, Dalai Lama was paid $1 million to go there. So his emissary, here we go. His name was Emissary Lama Tenzin. Now it's funny because the person that went after me for putting these posts up on Facebook was also had the name of Lama Tenzin, which I thought was quite interesting. And I'll pull that up for us in just a minute. I can show you. So this island, here we go. Here he is with Allison Mack right here. He was on the island. There's Georgina Brothman. Here's Richard Branson with Sarah Brothman. She rented the island for that party. Here she is with the Lama Tenzin, who it says one day Lama Tenzin was caught in a hot tub with Sarah by a friend. They were, according to Sarah's friend, canoodling and hot necking. And they had been in a relationship for quite a while, even though he was supposed to be celibate. So there is a definite, correlation between Dalai Lama and this group. So this was the first thing I found on Necker Island. So then you know what? Let me go to my, before I forget. Let's do, hold on just a second. Let me get out of here and go to my Facebook. Hold on a second. Now, I didn't even know anything about this. When I lost my account, David did a search on Facebook, and he sent me a screenshot of it. And hold on a second. Oh, come on, computer. The heck? Okay. Do recent posts. Here we go. Okay, I found it. Steps here. Let's get into this one right here. Okay, here we go. So this person, Tibet Tenzin, you see, okay. And I did kind of send this person nasty messages. So let's see if they're still up here. This is the person that demanded an apology from me right here. This was the first one on February 14th. Lori Swan, you clearly don't understand Tibetan culture. Stop pretending you do and stop lecturing people who live it. The ignorance in your post is embarrassing. Please learn about Tibetan culture. I don't know why I was getting slammed by Tibetan culture. I wasn't doing anything about Tibetan culture. I was just sharing the information about the disgusting behavior. Here's another one I was posted on, saying that I was accusing him of having ties to Epstein. Well, at that time I wasn't, but I am now because I did find that his name is in the files. So this is why I believe, right here. We demand the immediate removal of your offending post, which appears to be motivated by clickbait. Honey, I don't ever do anything for clickbait. And attention seeking. I don't want the attention either. And continues to spread misinformation about His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, in a global icon of peace and compassion. I wasn't spreading any misinformation. I was giving out the information, the facts and the facts only. So yeah. So that's probably the reason why I lost my account. But you know what? Lori doesn't care because Lori's used to it. So Necker Island has a history of some interesting and some, you might say, questionable antics going on, you might say. And one such thing has to do with Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people, when Bitcoin first came out, they were saying that there is no way that the bankers, or I should say the elites, can manipulate or have any bearing on Bitcoin. Which is not true. I'll show you why. In 2017, Richard Branson hosted what was coined by Forbes as Bitcoin Illuminati. It says on Monday night, and this was July 17th, 2017. It says on Monday night, about 40 people were scattered on Balinese and Havanese teak and bamboo furniture in a room with soaring ceilings decked out with a bar, a pool table, drums, ocean view on three sides. Golden light bathed everyone in the area. They were fixated on a large screen in which a renowned Peruvian economist, Hernando de Soto, was presenting via video conference a plan he and Peruvian presidential candidate Keiko Fujimori are proposing to help citizens title their property, such as land and automobiles. If such systems were rolled out worldwide, De Soto believes they would help bring $20 trillion of dead capital into the world economy and help lift people out of poverty globally. That is not what I wanted to. Here's a picture. There's Branson right there in this pool. It says the second annual Blockchain Summit, an event considered so exclusive that, as I noted in a previous story, that's the one I want. That's the story I wanted. Okay. Let's get out of here and go to the one that I wanted. Because that's the one I wanted. You're kidding me, right? Okay, so Sir Richard Branson hosts Blockchain Summit this weekend. What is arguably the most exclusive blockchain industry conference, the Blockchain Summit, sponsored by the Bitfury Group and MyTai Global, kicks off its second annual event this Saturday in a long-time innovator, futurist, and entrepreneur, Sir Richard Branson's Necker Island in the Caribbean. I was honored to have been asked to moderate a panel there with my lodging paid for by the Bitfury Group. When I told some sources I was going, they said that's officially makes you a Bitcoin Illuminati. I'll be using my access to the Bitcoin Illuminati to launch a new Forbes podcast. This year, notable attendees of the Blockchain Summit, and he gives a list of these people. Now, I'm going to tell you something. These people are not everyday people like you and I, which is what the branding of blockchain originally started at. Anybody can have it. You can have it. I can have it. Blah, 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 blah. And they tried to say again that the elite would have no power over the blockchain, no power over Bitcoin, which was a straight out freaking lie. This gives you remnants of Jekyll Island and the creation of the Federal Reserve kind of vibes. You know, a secret meeting, trying to manipulate and plan out the plan, the plans they have for Bitcoin. Only a few people are allowed. It's not really widely known. It's on an island. So this goes on every year. Literally every single year. Here's one from 2020. We're going to show blocks. The 6th annual Blockchain Summit from 2020, hosted by Bitfury and Akai Global on Sir Richard Branson's Necker Island. Every year, it's on the island. The past 5 blockchain summits have fostered innumerable partnerships and projects, including the Global Blockchain Business Council, the Blockchain Trust Accelerator, and the Blockchain Alliance. These are just 3 examples of the powerful impact that dedicated leaders can have when they join forces beyond the conference room and think about how to solve ever-pressing global challenges. So you've got just a few people, just a few, impacting this supposed digital currency that's out of the reach of the bankers. Okay. Considering that, I believe it was the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers bought up a big portion of Bitcoin back in 2017 or 18, something like that. So if you're involved in Bitcoin, I would question who is influencing the fluctuation of it, because I've been watching it. Actually, I've been watching it for a while, and Bitcoin fluctuates more than I've seen anything. It fluctuates more than gold and silver, and it fluctuates more than the petrodollar. It's so it's volatile. It's so fluid. It's crazy how it can go up and down so quickly. You almost have to be watching it constantly if you've invested in it to make to realize or to decide whether you're going to sell it or not. Because if you wait too long, you're gonna pay out your butt. You're gonna lose a lot. So when we look at the Epstein files, I just want you guys to understand, Epstein wasn't the only one. He's not the only one out there who is doing these things. He's not the only one trafficking children. He's not the only one committing heinous acts against other human beings. It's just recently come into the mainstream media that there's a gentleman by the last name of Al-Fayed. You guys remember that name, Al-Fayed? His son was dating Princess Diana when she had her accident. Dodi Al-Fayed. was his son. Says French investors have uncovered an alleged sex trafficking network operating behind the luxury associated with Mohammed Al Fayed's Ritz Hotel and Riviera yachts, with several victims reporting severe abuse in a tightly organized system of exploitation, according to officials familiar with the case. It's not the only one that there's so many others. It's crazy. So I wanted to take a look at the Epstein files. So here you can see it's the Department of Justice website. I already answered the question whether it was over 18. I came down here, I put in Necker Island, and lo and behold, will you look at that? We're not just talking these, but we've got page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5, all referencing Necker Island. Now, I haven't had a chance to take a look at this stuff. I don't know. Here's one let's see. There's a trip to Necker Island right here. This trip to Necker Island, it's from to Leslie Groff. It's October 13th, 2013. We need to hear from Branson's people. Coordinate tomorrow's Necker Island trip. Here's one. From Jeffrey Epstein to Mike Richards regarding play tennis with Rafa Nadal and Sir Richard Branson's private island. I do not follow tennis, however. Tell me if this is us. Okay. Dear Jeffrey, Premier Tennis Travel is pleased to announce the 2013 Necker Cup and World Team Tennis Legends Camp. Both events take place November 12th through 16th in the magnificent British Virgin Islands. You can experience a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play with some of tennis's greatest stars and or enjoy their company in an intimate charity exhibition, dinner, auction, and end-of-the-world party. Last year's Necker Cup auction raised over $1 million for worthy charities. That's the one on the island. Okay. Now, like I said, Necker Island is approximately 40 miles from Little St. James. And both have helicopter pads. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for a person to take a helicopter from one island to the other. That is what I said. I'm back when I did the first show in 2017. Here's a email from Larry Vysowski. It says, trip to Necker Island info. FYI, it looks like J.E., Jeffrey Epstein, will take the heli trip to Necker Island on November 14th for the Necker Cup. It is being suggested that J.E. arrive Necker at 10 a.m. and depart at 5 p.m. Just giving a heads up. Now, yes, she was. That is the rumor. Now, there's some things that are going out right now, and I haven't had a chance to verify it yet, but I will. You probably already heard that it's rumored that Jeffrey Epstein had something to do with the creation of Bitcoin. I don't know if it's true or not. So much stuff right now is coming out that is just BS. Or I'm just going to flat out say it's just BS. Because the AI is just getting to the point of being ridiculous. And misinformation. And people tend to put out misinformation when there's a highly volatile situation going on, as in like right now with the war, where there's so much information coming out at one time. They try to sneak things in. You have to be really, really, really careful when you share information. So I am going to spend some time vetting a little bit carefully, because the information that I had ready to go tonight regarding Jeffrey Epstein and the creation of Bitcoin, I am not 100% confident in. And I'm not going to put out information that I'm not confident in. And if I do put out information, you know that I will retract it immediately. That yesterday, with the arrest of George Soros. First up, George Soros is not under house arrest. And secondly, the executive order that's mentioned in that post, there's no page 47. So it was up for a short period of time, but I took it down. Another thing is you're going to see a lot of posts verifying, and I'm saying they're verifying that the missiles that hit that school that killed, quote unquote, all those little girls was from the United States and Israel. You know what? The missile might have been. Okay, let's say that it was. There was no little girls in that building. It wasn't even a school. I mean, it was a school, but it was on a base, and it was at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't believe that any school holds classes at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I have somebody in Iran, and she will tell you that there was no kids in that school. So yeah, the United States may have bombed that facility or that building. But that's about the only thing that's true. The amount of propaganda coming out right now is just overwhelming. It's hard to keep up with everything. Because here's the thing, is if you put something up on social media, you have an obligation, okay, let me just rephrase this. If you do what I do on social media, I have an obligation to verify the information. Again, and if I find out that it's true, it's not true after I post it, I will immediately remove it. I try to do it before I post it, but sometimes, things happen. But there's an obligation to people that other people come to for information. Make sure that you verify things. Make sure that it's properly vetted. And understand that things are manipulated. It's not always what it seems. Propaganda is really, really rampant right now, especially coming out of Iran. Which soldiers? Our soldiers or their soldiers? Both. We all have weapons that the public does not know about. And if you listen to the soldiers in Venezuela firsthand, you see that too. Ours? Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, wouldn't doubt it. So, all right, guys, that's all I've got for you tonight. It was going to be a very short show, but I will be back. Wednesday night. Next Sunday night, Dr. Joy will be joining us. Not sure what the topic's going to be, but she will be with us then. So hopefully we can get Robbie this week as well. So, all right, guys. I will talk with you soon. Until next time, remember, eyes open, no fear.